हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिव कीर्तिः पृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव स्वमृतमस्मि द्रविणगं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll go to sixth Anuvaka straight away. Sixth Anuvaka. sixth section. असन् एव स भवति, असन् एव स भवति, असद्ब्रह्मेति वेद चेत्, असद्ब्रह्मेति वेद चेत्, अस्ति ब्रह्मेति चेद्वेद, अस्ति ब्रह्मेति चेद्वेद, सन्तमेनं ततो विदुरिति, मेनं ततो विदुरिति, तस्यैष एव शारीर आत्मा, शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य, अथातो न प्रश्नाः, न प्रश्नाः, उता विद्वानमुल्लोकं प्रेत्य, उता विद्वानमुल्लोकं प्रेत्य, कश्चित् समश्नुतावो, कश्चित् समश्नुतावो, सोकामयत, सोकामयत, बहुस्यां प्रजायेति, यां प्रजायेति, सतपोतप्यत, सतपस्तप्त्वा, सतपस्तप्त्वा, इदगं सर्वमसृजत, इदगं सर्वमसृजत, सर्वमसृजत, यदिदं किञ्च, यदिदं किञ्च, तत्सृष्ट्वा, तत्सृष्ट्वा, तदेवानुप्राविशत्, तदेवानुप्राविशत्, तदनुप्रविश्य, तदनुप्रविश्य, सच्चत्यच्चाभवत्, सच्चत्यच्चाभवत्, निरुक्तञ्च निरुक्तञ्च, निरुक्तञ्च निरुक्तञ्च, निलयनञ्च निलयनञ्च, निलयनञ्च निलयनञ्च, विज्ञानञ्च विज्ञानञ्च, विज्ञानञ्च विज्ञानञ्च, सत्यञ्चानृतञ्च सत्यमभवत्, सत्यञ्चानृतञ्च सत्यमभवत्, यदिदं किञ्च, यदिदं किञ्च, तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते, तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते, तदप्येष श्लोको भवति, तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. We'll continue the seventh Anuvakaha, which we started this morning. Asadva idamagra asit, asadva idamagra asit, asadva idamagra asit, asadva idamagra asit, tato vai sadajayata, ततो वै सदजायत, ततो वै सदजायत, ततो वै सदजायत, तदात्मानगस्वयमकुरुत, 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 तस्मात् तत्सुकृतमुच्यत इति, तस्मात् तत्सुकृतमुच्यत इति, तस्मात् तत्सुकृतमुच्यत इति, तस्मात् तत्सुकृतमुच्यत इति, Yadvai tat sukrutam, Yadvai tat sukrutam, Yadvai tat sukrutam, Tat sukrutam. So, I'm sure you all remember very well that now this is the Rig Mantraha. The seventh Anuvakaha also begins with the Rig Mantraha, which again discusses this entire universe being none other than Brahma, for which this Rig Mantraha states, before the universe came into existence, what does it mean? Before the universe arrived, before the arrival of the universe, what was Brahma, only Brahma. The absolute reality alone was there. Brahman alone was there. Atma alone was there. Before the arrival of this universe. Which means Atma alone was there before, then the universe has come into existence, means definitely the universe would not have come into existence from anywhere else. It might have come into existence only from Brahma. And not only that, this universe existed before. This important point. Idam agre asit. Idam, this universe, agre, before its arrival, asit, existed. What does it mean? This universe, before its arrival, it existed means it is not newly created. Which means already existed. But then why do we use expression creation? It comes into existence before its arrival. What does it mean by saying arrival? Arrival means before it was not here, that's why it has arrived. What it means is arrival implies the universe which is now here is manifest. Manifest means what? It is differentiated, available for perception, enjoyment, interaction, and we see the plurality, diversity, differences and divisions. This universe of objects of plurality, differences, divisions, diversity, differentiated, this manifest universe before it existed. It is not newly created, but it existed in different form. Idam agre asit. How was it? It was an unmanifest, potential, undifferentiated condition. When it was undifferentiated, what was it? It was in the form of Maya. Maya is another name for the undifferentiated, unmanifest, potential universe. Which means universe was in the form of an inseparable power of the reality. Universe was, that is why when it was an abstract power. Abstract, subtlest power. When everything was in a potential condition, definitely everything will be inseparable. If you take a seed, when you small tiny seed you take, a big seed, a small seed, if you break open the seed, you cannot find anything there. But in that seed, the huge tree is unmanifest. How all our stuff are coded in a DNA. Here there's a whole, the tree, the branches, the bark, the taproot, side roots, adventitious roots, all the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, the fragrance of flowers, the taste of fruits, my God, even the seeds. All of them are unmanifest. If you break open, you can't see anything. Bijasya antarivankuro jagadidam. Bijasya antaha ankuraha iva. Just as a sprout is in unmanifest form, undifferentiated. If you break open, you can't find anything. You cannot differentiate. Oh, which is the, can you see which is the trunk, which is the branch, and which are the leaves? You can't differentiate anything. Everything is unmanifest, undifferentiated. Like that, this universe of diversity, plurality, innumerable countless forms, names and functions, differentiated, this existed before in an unmanifest, undivided, undifferentiated potential form as Maya, inseparably from Brahman. This universe was in the form of Brahman. Universe was in the form of the Maya with its source. Okay. Therefore, Asadva Asit. This was in the form of Brahman with its power. So Asad stands for what? Asad should not be taken as non-existence. Asad implies the reality with its unmanifest power, not being available for transaction, being as good as non-existent. It is implied by the term Asad. This you have already seen in the morning elaborately. I don't want to take time again to go to this. Asadva idam agre asit. Now, so Asat stands for what? Ishvaraha. Karanam Brahma. Ishvaraha. Who is Ishvaraha? The absolute reality with its power is Ishvaraha. Asat stands for Ishvaraha. Now, Tato vai sadajayata. Tato vai sadajayata. Then from that Tataha, from that Ishvaraha, from that Brahman endowed with the power, from that absolute reality endowed with the inseparable subtlest power known as Maya, which is known as Ishvara, from that Brahman alone, indeed, Sat Ajayata. Sat Ajayata. If you break it, Sadajayata, you have to break it as Sat plus Ajayata. Ajayata literally means was born. You can take it as what? Came into existence, originated. So Sat means what? Sat stands for manifest universe. This universe, which is manifest, which is differentiated with all differences, manifested, came into existence from manifest universe, came into existence from Brahma. Before it was unmanifest form, from being unmanifest, the universe has become manifest. So from being unmanifest, from being unmanifest, undifferentiated condition, becoming differentiated and becoming manifest is said to be creation. There is no other creation. It is not a brand new creation. Is it clear? Why? The matter is never created, never destroyed. Matter also is equally. Why? There's no matter other than consciousness. Matter in subtlest form is what? The inseparable power of the reality. That is why it's also eternal, anadihi. But matter is subject to change. So, tato vai sat ajayata. Sat stands for what? Manifest universe. Asat stands for what? Ishvaraha. So this manifest universe was in potential unmanifest condition in Paramatma Brahma. Now it has become manifest. Now to become manifest means, what should we understand? It has become manifest means it has not become different, separate from Bhagavan. When you say clay, from the clay pot has come into existence means pot pot was before unmanifest in clay. After having become the pot also, pot is manifest. Now it is useful, it serves a purpose, it's available for transaction, utility, but still pot is non-separate from clay. Is it clear? Similarly, this universe of plurality also has come into existence from Brahman. Karana Ishwaraha means it is non-different from the universe. It is inseparable from, it is non-separate from Bhagavan. It is inseparable from its source. Is it clear? Therefore, how do we know that? The next sentence confirms that fact. Tadatmanagasvayamakuruta Tadatmanagasvayamakuruta. So, the word tad, you have to break it carefully. Tad means Brahmatma. Which Brahmatma? Brahmatma endowed with inseparable power of Maya. Power of creation known as Maya. That Tad stands for Brahmatma, Shaktimad Brahma, Ishwaraha. Atmanam means itself. That from Brahmatma, himself. Atmana means himself. Swayam by himself. Akuruta made. So that Lord made himself by himself into the universe. A very subtle fact. Usually, when we say carpenter makes a table, the carpenter's knowledge and skill is intelligent cause, and for which carpenter is dependent on something outside of him, which is called what? The wood, which is a material cause, and he also needs other instruments. Instrumental cause also is there. What is that? That is Sahakari Karanam. So, Upadana Karanam, Nimitta Karanam, Sahakari Karanam. What is Sahakari Karanam? He needs a hammer, chisel, etc. Small nails. All this is Sahakari Karanam. Now here, Bhagavan did not require any instruments. No Sahakari Karanam. Bhagavan did not require any material cause. Bhagavan did not require any knowledge from outside. The knowledge and skill required for this universe also was Bhagavan. The material required for this universe also was Bhagavan. And all other instruments, Sahakari Karanam, such as hammer, nails, chisel, etc., are also Bhagavan. Like what? Doubt comes. We cannot believe this. How can this happen? This can happen when your dream is possible. You can create, okay? Shastram has for everything reason, okay? If you can create your dream world, you are the intelligent cause, you are the material cause, you are the Sahakari Karanam also to create your dream. To project your dream. Isn't it? Nothing is outside of you, the waker or everything. With reference to dream. Similarly, Paramatma has brought this universe into existence. Where? Not from anywhere else. From himself. So it says, so Tad stands for Bhagavan being the intelligent cause. The word Atmanam, himself, stands for Bhagavan being the material cause. And Swayam, himself made, means what? That stands for Bhagavan being instrumental cause. So, Nimitta Karanam, Upadana Karanam, Sahakari Karanam, all the causes are Bhagavan himself. Therefore, Bhagavan himself converted himself into this entire cosmos. How the waker himself converts The waker converts himself into the dreamer experiencer, the dream experience, and the dreamt world. Isn't it? The waker himself becomes the intelligent cause, material cause, and the instrumental cause. All that required maker himself becomes to create his own dream. Here also, Paramatma, Param Brahma, with this, and what was the material cause? His own inseparable power. And what else was there? Our karmas. See, to produce to create your own dream world, you have your mind and vasanas. Similarly, Bhagavan, with the help of Maya and karma, prarabdha karma palani, Bhagavan also created this universe. How do you create your dream world? You have your mind and you have your vasanas. So mind is equal to Maya, vasanas are equal to karmani, okay? Prarabdha karma palam of all the jivas. So, tad atmanaga swayam akuruta. Akuruta means made. Bhagavan created this universe himself, by himself, out of himself. So, tad atmanagam is only for chanting. For meaning, tad atmanam swayam akuruta. So, tad means that. That means Brahma. So, this absolute reality endowed with the inseparable power, as who enjoys the status of being the Lord Ishvara, created himself into the universe, as the universe. Is it clear? Tad atmanam swayam akuruta. You have to break that. Tad atmanam swayam akuruta. Swayam means what? Without requiring any help or support, any other instruments also from outside. Swayam himself. Atmanam himself. Tad, that Brahma. Is it clear? So Tad stands for Brahmatma, Ishvara being the intelligent cause. Atmanam, himself being the material cause. Swayam, by himself, that word indicates Bhagavan being himself the instrumental cause also. All three causes, Bhagavan himself. Akuruta. Therefore, Bhagavan is given a title here. Tasmat tat sukruta muchyata iti. 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 Tasmat, therefore. See, I use different words, don't get confused. I use Brahmatma, I say Ishvaraha, I say Karanam Brahma. It's okay, na? I also want you to get used to all these terms, how they mean, what they mean. Is it all right? Any confusion about it? Okay. Now, Tasmat, therefore, due to that reason, that Brahmatma himself is the material cause. Who is Brahmatma? Formless, abstract, subtlest, limitless existence consciousness, endowed with the power, inseparable power, is alone said to be Ishvaraha here. Therefore, that Lord alone became this universe. Therefore, where is the Lord now? Lord has become the universe. Clay has become the pot means what does it mean? Clay alone is in the form of the pot. Understand? So here Bhagavan is in the form of the universe. Now we have to see this inseparability, non-separateness of the Lord and the universe being one and the same is what? Advaita Darshanam. Seeing the whole cosmos as Bhagavan, seeing everything as the Lord or the truth is what? Is there a universe other than Bhagavan? No. Is vision of non-duality. So ignorant person sees this as universe, wise person sees the world as the Lord. Ignorant person also is seeing the world. Wise person also is seeing the world. Ignorant person sees Brahman. Now he says he mistakes Brahman for the world. Wise person sees the world being Brahma. Okay. Tasmat tat sukrutamuchyata iti. Tasmat tat sukrutamuchyata iti. So that there, tasmat tat sukrutam uchyate. There ends the Rig mantraha. Iti indicates the end of the Rig mantraha. Like before, we saw. Tasmat, therefore, tat means that Brahma, Shaktimat Brahma. That reality endowed with the power known as Ishvara. Sukrutam uchyate. Uchyate means is said, is known as, is said to be Sukrutam. Sukrutam is a title given to Brahmatma. Sukrutam. Here, the word Sukrutam has two meanings. Literally, you would have heard before in many occasions, the word Sukruta means what? Right action or Punyam born of right action. The Punyam, the result of right action, the Punyam earned as a result of right action is what? Sukrutam. But here, Sukrutam means self-produced, self-created. Su, first meaning, okay? First meaning is what? Su means good, literally means. But Su should be taken as Swayam. Krita means made. Swayam Kritam. Sukrutam should be taken as Swayam Kritam. Swayam Krita means what is this universe? This universe is Bhagavan's own product of himself. One production of himself. I heard one Swami saying, no, sometimes there are people who write script. The people who, the film producers, the story writers, they write, they directors, they direct the whole show. They direct it, they're the directors, they are the producers, and they also become actors. They participate. That like that here. Like that here, Bhagavan himself, Swayam Kritam. Swayam Krita means the whole universe is Bhagavan's own production. And where is Bhagavan? And he is not sitting away from the universe. So he himself is in the form of universe. Sukrutam. Is one meaning. The one who has created himself, that which has converted himself in itself into the universe is Sukrutam. One meaning. Another meaning is, all that is here is Paramatma means, what about the Punyam, result of right action, is also Bhagavan. Wrong action also Bhagavan. Papam is also Bhagavan. Punyam is also Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. But here, Punyam is also Bhagavan. But the Upanishad says, next line, Yadvai tat sukrutam, Yadvai tat sukrutam, Yadvai tat sukrutam. So here, Bhagavan is also the source of Sukrutam. This is another meaning for this word Sukrutam. It has two meanings. Okay, Bhagavan is in the form of Sukrutam also. Sukrutam. Now, see, you talk about always, oh, how versatile that person is, how versatile this person is. Tell me, the most exalted, highly, the most versatile is none other than Bhagavan. Why? Creator is himself, material cause is also Bhagavan, intelligent cause also is Bhagavan, and instrumental cause is also Bhagavan, and Bhagavan himself converted himself into this whole Jagat. Asrjata abhavat. Don't forget this. Therefore, that is why the most versatile being is none other than Bhagavan, who is of the nature of the very reality. Next, therefore, we say this one. No, this is another reason. Bhagavan being, the Brahmatma being the most versatile of everything, of all the beings here, himself being all the causes and being manifest as this universe, this itself is the proof for the existence of Brahman. This has already been mentioned, but still again, Shankar Bhagavad presents this as another point to establish, prove the existence of Brahman. Sukrutatvat Brahmanaha Sukrutatvat Brahma Asti. Brahman exists because of his versatile nature of being the material cause, intelligent cause, and efficient cause, thereby appearing as the universe. Is it clear? Okay. Now, next reason. Now, how many? 4 reasons we have seen for the Upanishad has presented until now. 4 reasons for proving the existence of Brahma. Now, 5th reason is going to come. Raso Vaisaha, Raso Vaisaha, Raso Vaisaha, Raso Vaisaha, Rasaguhyevayam labdhvanandi bhavati. Rasaguhyevayam labdhvanandi bhavati. Rasaha vai saha. Now, saha again is a third person singular masculine gender pronoun. Therefore, we have to take it as Brahmatma, who is endowed with this inseparable power. The Brahmatma, Paramatma alone. Paramatma is indeed rasaha. Rasaha means Ananda Swarupaha. Bhagavan is happiness. Brahmatma is happiness. Brahmatma is fullness. What does it mean? Brahmatma is fullness. Atma is, already we have seen Anandaha. So Rasaha means Anandaha. Why? What Bhagavan is essentially of the nature of fullness, therefore happiness. What is happiness? Expression of fullness is happiness. Manifestation of fullness is happiness. Manifestation of fraction of fullness is pleasure. Isn't it? Therefore, source of pleasure is also Bhagavan. Source of happiness is also Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is of the nature of fullness. Therefore, it is said here, Saha Vai Rasaha. That Brahmatma alone is of the nature of Anandaha, happiness, fullness. Which means fullness and the reality are not two different things. Happiness and Bhagavan, reality, are not two different things. Is it clear? One and the same. So, Raso Vaisaha. Therefore, Rasam Hi Eva. Is it okay for me to move on to next line? Rasam Hi Eva Ayam Labdhva. Rasam Hi Eva Ayam Labdhva Anandi Bhavati. Anandi Bhavati. See, Anandaha, happiness. Anandi, one who is endowed with the happiness. One who has happiness. Meaning one who is happy. Anandi Bhavati means a person becomes happy. Here, a wise person becomes happy means wise person discovers happiness. Wise person becomes happy means wise person discovers happiness. How does he discover happiness? By discovering the source of happiness. Wise person discovers happiness by discovering the source of happiness. And who is the source of happiness? Atma, Brahmatma. Therefore, and Brahmatma is meant by the expression rasam, rasaha. Rasam hi eva. Rasam means Brahmatmanam. Brahmatma. So the reality which is of the nature of fullness, happiness, reality which is of the nature of happiness, thereby which is of the nature of fullness, thereby the source of happiness. The word rasam is objective case of rasaha. The rasam means what? Atma, Brahmatma, which is of the nature of fullness, thereby the source of all happiness, is Atma, Rasaha. Okay? Eva, he, we had to break, he indeed, Eva, alone or only. I am means this wise person. I am means this. Are you all with me? Little lost? I am means this wise person. I am means this. This indicates what? This wise person. Which wise person? Any wise person. Okay? This wise person, labdhva, having discovered, having gained, having attained, This wise person first attains, gains Atma in terms of knowledge. And which Atma does he attain in terms of knowledge? Does he attain? He attains Atma which is of the nature of fullness, the source of happiness. So labdva means having attained, having gained. How can he attain the Atma? He can never attain the Atma, can never gain the Atma, having attained Paramatma in terms of knowledge, means having discovered. Labdva should be taken as having discovered. The word labdva literally means having gained. Should be taken as having discovered. Having attained in terms of discovery. Having discovered Brahmatma, which is of the nature of fullness, the source of happiness, this person, this wise person, Anandi Bhavati, becomes happy. So becomes happy means he discovers happiness. So what should be the correct meaning? The wise person, having discovered Paramatma, the source of happiness, discovers happiness, discovers fullness. Which means this wise person discovers fullness, happiness means the wise person who discovers happiness not as an object. The wise person who discovers the Paramatma as one's own self, discovers happiness as one's own real nature. Thereby, the wise person enjoys the greatest luxury of reveling in the vision of fullness. Is it clear? So, rasam labdva means having discovered Paramatma, the source of happiness, as one's own self. This wise person discovers happiness as one's own real nature. Why? Paramatma and happiness, fullness are one and the same. Now, where does he discover? Where does he gain where does he discover that Paramatma, the source of happiness, the source of, which is of the nature of fullness? See, go to that last line. Yeshaha hi eva, it's the last line. Yeshahyeva nandayati, Yeshahyeva nandayati, Yeshahyeva nandayati, Yeshahyeva nandayati. So, Yeshaha hi eva, Yeshaha hi eva anandayati. See, anandati, nandati means feels happy. Anandayati means what? Makes other person happy. I tell you, anandati or nandati. Nandati means is happy, feels happy. Anandayati, nandayati means makes other person happy. Causative verb. Are you following? Nandati is happy. Nandayati makes other person happy. Causative. If you add prefix a, also same meaning. Anandati means is happy. I am happy, I make others also happy. So anandayati means makes other person happy. It's a causative verb. But here Upanishad presents that verb as anandayati. It is this Atma being the source of all happiness, which is of the nature of fullness, makes the one who discovers the self, Atma as a self, happy. Anandayati makes other person happy. Atma makes the discoverer of the Atma happy. Are you all with me? Okay. Atma makes the discoverer of the Atma happy. How? Because Atma being the source of happiness, Atma being Atma is of the nature of fullness. Therefore, Atma, this Brahmatma, makes the discoverer of the Atma happy. Yeshaha hi eva anandayati. What does it mean? There's nothing in the world. A source of happiness, source of pleasure is nothing other than Atma. Atma is the only source of happiness. Therefore, Atma is the only source of any degree of pleasure enjoyed also. It must be very, 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 very clear. I'm waiting because we have one more topic is going to come. Yes, we are going to analyze happiness. There I'll do more exercise there, okay? Now, I'll make you do more exercise, sorry. Now we understand this much is enough. Yeshaha hi eva anandayati. Is it clear? After that, you have to see this meaning. So what he says, Atma is Ananda Swarupaha, Raso Vaisaha. The word Rasaha literally means essence, juice. And you all don't, because every day I ask for rasam in the kitchen, don't mistake that rasam, okay? In the dining hall. Rasaha means what? Essence, juice. And here Rasaha means happiness, fullness. So Saha, why Rasaha? That Paramatma, Brahmatma, entered the inseparable power alone is of the nature of fullness, happiness. Paramatma is happiness. Paramatma does not attain happiness. Okay? Paramatma and happiness are not two different things. Paramatma and fullness are not two different things. Let me give you another example here. I will say, ocean is full of water. Means, water being the truth of the ocean, being the reality of the ocean, water fills the ocean. And why does water fill the ocean? If you ask what will the answer you will give? Water is the truth of the ocean, reality of the ocean. Being the truth and reality, being full is its nature. Being full, make it a noun, fullness. So with reference to ocean, water and fullness are not two different things. Similarly, Bhagavan being the very truth of the whole, Bhagavan and fullness with reference to the universe are not two different things. So being full, being all pervasive, all pervasiveness, fullness is the nature of Bhagavan, Swarupam of Bhagavan. Therefore, and this, what is happiness then? Manifestation of fullness is happiness. Manifestation of fraction of fullness is pleasure. Isn't it? Therefore, source of any degree of pleasure also is Bhagavan. The source of happiness is also Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan is of the nature of fullness. Other than Paramatma, Bhagavan, there is no other source of happiness. Therefore, this wise person also discovers fullness, discovers happiness as one's own real nature. How? By discovering Bhagavan. By discovering the Paramatma as one's own self, one's own real nature, he discovers happiness also as one's own nature. That is what the verse says here. Raso Vaisaha रसो वैसः रसगृह्येवायं लब्ध्वानन्दी भवति रसगृह्येवायं लब्ध्वानन्दी भवति. Got it? Rasam labdva hi eva ayam labdva anandi bhavati. Hope you're all able to follow all the words I'm saying. Got it? Okay. Next. Here you must remember, generally what do we think? Generally, what is our orientation? What is our understanding? We always think we are dependent on the enjoyment of possession of our external things. We're dependent on relationships or things, objects for our happiness. And we think sometimes, that's why all these objects, so-called objects, are said to be objects of pleasure. Really speaking, any object which is said to be the object of pleasure, it can be music, it can be dance, it can be anything, it can be food, it can be books, it can be, we talk about intellectual pleasure, sensory pleasure, aesthetic pleasure, any type of pleasure, any degree of pleasure, any amount of pleasure, whoever enjoys through anything, that given object is only an instrumental for this happiness is already there as one's own self to manifest. It's an instrument for manifesting one's own swarupam. So here, but we mistake the object as a source of happiness, for which I might have told you last time also this example. I read in one of our Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's books. You all would have read it also. The dog. What does the dog do? Dog chews the bone. And this because when they're chewing the bone, and the bone is very hard, and the bone, because the friction between the bone and the flesh gets wounded, gets scratched, and from its own flesh blood comes out, and then this bone tastes the blood, the dog tastes the blood, and the dog thinks, before I started chewing, blood wasn't not coming. I didn't get the blood. The poor dog does not know its own blood it is choosing. It is chewing. It's enjoying, relishing. The poor dog thinks the blood is oozing, comes from, the blood which is enjoying is from the bone. Dog mistakes the bone to be the source of the blood. Actually, bone is only nimittam to scratch and for its own blood to come out. The dog is enjoying its own blood. Like that, any pleasure, any mental pleasant disposition we enjoy, any degree of pleasure we enjoy is what? Actually, manifestation of fraction of our own real nature of fullness. This is Satyam. You are the only source of fullness and you are happiness yourself. Unfortunately, the attention is grabbed by some other objects, your nature is forgotten. That's all. Isn't it? So, that's why this statement, what is Bhagavan is the source of all happiness. Brahmatma is the source of all happiness. Paramatma is of the nature of happiness and fullness. And the wise person who discovers Paramatma as one's own self discovers happiness simultaneously. They're not two different things. That's what the verse says, next mantra says, line says, Rasaguhyevayam labdhvanandi bhavati. Be careful when reading Anandi Bhavati. You must have seen in Sanskritam 2 avagrahas. It means long vowel akara. Anandi bhavati. No way, suppose we make a mistake, if we read as a Nandi, what happens? Nandi means the bull sitting in front of Lord Shiva is called Nandi. But fortunately, Nandi also means one who is happy. Anandi is also means one who is happy. But Nandi, Nandini. Nandini, feminine gender. Vasishta's cow. No? Kamadhenu. Wish fulfilling cow. You ask for any time, pizza I want. It will give you immediately. That is, I want this. Immediately it will get it. That's why wish fulfilling cow. Kamadhenuhu. Nandini. Vasishta Maharshi had. That is different. Nandi, masculine gender. Bull, who is sitting, who represents dharma. Vehicle of Bhagavan, Shiva sitting in front of Bhagavan. So let us not think about it. But Nandi also means happy. Because that once you follow dharma, dharma makes you happy. Dharma protects you, the bait makes you happy. That's why the Nandi, the bull which symbolizes dharma, no, is always presented as the vehicle of Bhagavan here. That is different meaning, but here not Nandi, Anandi bhavati. This wise person becomes happy, means the wise person discovers happiness by discovering Paramatma. Okay, I want to finish a lot of things today. Okay, next one. Now, any pleasure you enjoy, who is the source? Bhagavan, Brahma. Therefore, the next point is the very fact that we are enjoying different degrees of pleasure, we cannot deny the enjoyment of experience of pleasures we have. The very fact that we are our own experience of pleasure, different degrees of pleasure, or the enjoyment of happiness of the wise person itself is the proof for the existence of Brahman. Why? Brahman and fullness experienced are not different. This next point, okay? What is the next point here? Next reason Upanishad presents. We are experiencing different degrees of pleasures, and the source of any degree of pleasure enjoyed is Brahma, because Brahman is of the nature of happiness, fullness. Okay. Therefore, Brahman is. Now, how many reasons are over? 5. Remember now 5? Brahmanaha astitum, Brahma asti. Definitely Brahman, existence of Brahman is established now. I said there are 7 reasons are given. Now 5 we have covered. 5th, Brahman is source of happiness, our enjoyment of. Ananda Swarupatvat. Ananda Swarupatvat. Brahma asti. Brahman being the source of happiness and all degrees, different degrees of pleasures, Brahman does exist. Isn't it? We have seen now Sukrutatvat Brahma asti. Ananda Swarupatvat Brahma asti. Five. Now we're going to say 6th one. We're going to see. Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Can you see that page number mantra? Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Ko hyevanyat kaf pranyat. Yadesha akasha anando nasyat. Yadesha akasha anando nasyat. Yadesha akasha anando nasyat. Yadesha akasha anando nasyat. Here, the question is asked. This is not a proper question. It's called supposition, hypothesis. What does it mean? Suppose if it wasn't there, it wouldn't have been possible. Suppose if Atma wasn't there, Brahmatma wasn't there, Brahmatma were not there. If it were not there, then life would not have been possible. Now see here. Kaha, see the first now, ko, when you break it, ko should be taken as kaha. Kaha means who. Kaha is a masculine gender interrogative pronoun, which means who. Who. He. Then after kaha, he. He becomes self-dependent. This person becomes self-dependent, becomes free from emotional dependence. He becomes absolutely secure. He becomes free from the hold of the phenomenon called a fear for good. He becomes the one who is abiding in fearlessness. Absolutely secure. Not only he becomes very secure, he discovers himself being the source of security. And he discovers himself being himself. He discovers himself being the security of everything. Who becomes emotionally independent? Who becomes absolutely secure? Who? Upanishad says, unless and until. See, this is really promise. Unless and until one discovers the truth. Unless and until you discover the truth implied by the term Atma or Brahma, obtaining as your own self, your own essential nature, as a truth of I, there's no way of being secure. In spite of possessing everything also, irrespective of what you have also, what a person has also, one will be insecure. That is why seeking security. In fact, whatever we do in our lives, we are seeking always security. The human being by birth, once you're born a human being, you're born insecure being. All of us are emotionally very, very insecure. And being insecure it's a very natural for a human being. The time the baby is born out of mother's womb, as long as baby feels, that baby feels protected in the mother's womb, the baby doesn't know. The minute the baby comes out of mother's womb, this insecurity just is there from that time onwards. That is why you can always, is how the insecurity is there. Always the child, you can see the child walking behind the mother all the time, holding on to this, the sari, India. Always holding on to this child walking behind. So here maybe walking behind. Wherever a mother goes, child will go. It's all expression of insecurity. That's why there's a child in all of us. So insecurity is a very, very natural thing. And as we grow, and whatever we do also is actually, even though we think for entertainment, it's also for security. We go to school for education. Education is for our disciplining our mind. There's a different purpose, but still there is a security. What you are searching through education, what you are searching through your qualifications, what you are searching through your jobs, what you are searching through your positions and possessions, what you are searching through having good the manpower or money power, friendship, having friends, what a person is searching through, even having a family life, marriage, having children, anything, whatever a person does in one's life, ultimately through all that one does, what a human being is searching is security. So seeking security is a very, very natural need, expression of a natural need, emotional need. Because being insecure is very natural, and being insecure, searching for security, seeking security is a very natural thing. Always there is a drive to do something, to do more, to come first. Now why? Because the sense of insecurity centered on I drives everyone to always do something, to seek to be secure, to feel secure. And why do you want to be secure? Because in being secure, you're searching for happiness. In being secure, you're searching for everything. I want to be educated, I want money, I want wealth, I want friends, I want husband, I want wife, I want family, I want children, I want manpower, I want money power, I want social influence, I want this, I want that, I want this, everything I want for, because I want to have all those things to be secure, to feel secure, but not knowing where the security is. Actually, we're searching for security. That's why Artha is said to be the first Purushartha, even though ultimate Purushartha is Moksha. Isn't it? Because whatever a person does, fundamentally seeking security is the pursuit of Artha. We say wealth. Artha literally means money, wealth. But actually, even if you ask why do you want money, wealth, or any assets in any form, because it makes you feel secure. The more bank balance you have, more secure people feel. You feel. Even I want to have more friends, it's also it makes me feel secure. I'm a part of an organization, it makes me feel secure. I am with people who are righteous people, dharmic people, it makes me feel secure. Ultimately, we seek security. Okay? Why do we seek security? Because we feel insecure. And being insecure is a very, very natural mental condition. And Bhagavan says, Upanishad also here says, Krishna says in Gita, here Upanishad says also what? this sense of insecurity centered on I am insecure, that notion will not, unless that notion is resolved, the sense of insecurity will never go. So whatever you possess, how much ever you possess, whatever you have, in spite of having everything you want to have also, irrespective of what you have, what you do not have also, being insecure will be very, very natural condition. And what is the only way? Shastram says, unless and until you discover yourself being Atma, unless you discover Paramatma being your own real nature, there's no way of becoming free from sense of insecurity. Once you discover Atma, not only you will not be seeking security, you will discover yourself being the absolute source of security. You can become absolutely secure. Okay, only your security is in Jnanam. And what is the Jnanam of what? Brahma. Brahman is the source of security, the source of fearlessness. Yada, she says, Yada, when is, Yada is an indeclinable word, which means when, he, indeed, eva, alone, or only, yeshaha. So, yada hi eva. If we take, when indeed, yeshaha means this person. So, this person indicates, implies what? This person means, indicates any human being, anyone. This person means anyone. Any seeker of moksha. Any seeker of moksha. One who wants freedom from sense of insecurity. When indeed this person, whoever seeks security, pratishtham vindate. Abhayam pratishtham vindate. When this person, abhayam pratishtham vindate. Vindate attains. When this person attains. Yada hi eva yeshaha vindate. Are you all following? Able to make out? Okay. When indeed this person attains. Vindate attains. When this person attains what? Abhayam pratishtham. Abhayam means fearlessness. Pratishtha, objective case, pratistham, when a person attains abidance in fearlessness. When a person attains abidance in fearlessness. Okay, he attains abidance in fearlessness means where does he attain abidance in fearlessness? Where is it possible? In Atma. One has to attain abidance in fearlessness only in one's own self. Which means, see, abiding in fearlessness is not something very cognitive, this is. When a person discovers absolutely fearlessness, where should a person discover fearlessness. If a person discovers fearlessness, fear will resolve means what is his fearlessness? How can one remain absolutely free from sense of insecurity and fear? How can one resolve the phenomenon called fear for good? It is said, Yeshaha abhayam pratishtham vindate. This person attains abundance in fearlessness, means this person discovers fearlessness. How? Through the only in one's own self. What is that self? What is the nature of the self? Beautiful. All the words given are adjectives describing the Atma. Etasmin. Etasmin. First word is etasmin. In this self. When a person indeed attains abundance in fearlessness in this self. In this self means what? In this nearest self, in one's own self. And what is the self? So many words are there. First, adrishye. I want to get these words first. Adrishyaha Atma. First you can write separately. Adrishyaha. Atma is Adrishyaha. Next is Anatmyaha. Third is Aniruktaha. Fourth is Anilayanaha. 4 words are there. There are 4 words which describe the Atma. Adrishyaha Atma, Anatmyaha Atma, Aniruktaha Atma, Anilayanaha Atma. Is it clear? Now locative case. Therefore, Etasmin Adrishye. Again, Etasmin Adrishye Anatmye Anirukte Anilayane Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate. Let us break the whole sentence now. Yada Hi Eva Yeshaha Etasmin Adrishye Anatmye Anirukte Anilayane Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate Atha Saha Abhayangataha Bhavati. Let us understand the sentence first, then we will see the meanings. Okay? Yada Hi Eva Yeshaha Etasmin Adrishye Anatmye Anirukte Anilayane Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate Atha Saha Abhayangataha Bhavati. All these words are in locative case. So every word describes Atma. Atma, this person who discovers Atma, then he abides in fearlessness. He attains abundance in fearlessness. He abides in fearlessness means he discovers fearlessness. He discovers fearlessness means the fear becomes resolved for good for him. Where does he discover? He discovers absolute security. Where in Atma? Atma is the only source of security. Which is this Atma? It is said here. This Atma, Etasmin, means in this Atma, which is Adrishyaha. Adrishyaha means unobjectifiable, imperceptible, invisible. invisible, imperceptible, unobjectifiable, inconceivable, isn't it? Abstract reality. Is Atma. It's for Adrishyaha. If Atma is Adrishyaha, then what is Atma? Drik Swarupatvat Adrishyaha. Atma is the Swarupam of the seer, knower. Therefore, Atma being the objectifier, seer, knower. Atma is not available for objectification or perception. Therefore, Atma is said to be Adrishyaha. Drishyaha means visible, perceptible. Adrishyaha means unobjectifiable, imperceptible, inconceivable. Why? Because Atma is the very Swarupam of the seer. Drik Swarupatvat Atma Adrishyaha. Why is Atma Adrishya? Why is Atma said to be imperceptible? Atma being the truth of the perceiver, Atma is imperceptible. Atma being the truth of the seer, Atma is invisible. Atma being the truth of the thinker, knower, Atma is unknowable. Because subject cannot become the object. Drik Swarupatvat Atma Adrishyaha. The first word, second word. Anatmye. Atma is Anatmyaha. See, Atmyaha means that which has a body. Anatmyaha means bodiless. Bodiless means what? Formless. Anatmya means formless. Is it clear? Even the mind has a subtle thought form. Physical body is what? Gross form. Atma doesn't have subtle form or a gross form. Atma is of the nature of formlessness. Therefore, Atma is Anatmyaha. Got it? Next word. Aniruktaha. Aniruktaha. Are you all with me? Hope you're not lost. Anyway, okay. Don't wait. Tomorrow morning I'll do a lot of chanting. I usually make you chant a lot, then I go to the verses. Mantra unfoldment. Usually I'm not spending much time for chanting. So we'll do some chanting practice tomorrow. So Aniruktaha. See, Niruktaha means that anything which is specifically definable or describable is Niruktaha. But Aniruktaha means indescribable, specifically non-definable. Indescribable, specifically non-definable. Non-definable or indescribable. Why? Again, Atma Swarupatvat Anatmyaha. Now, Nirgunatvat Aniruktaha. Atma is of the nature of attributelessness. Therefore, non-definable, indescribable. Anything can be described only if it has attributes. Formless, attributeless. So, Nirgunatvat, because of its attributelessness, Atma is indescribable, Aniruktaha. Next word, Anilayanaha. Anilayanaha, really you have to understand, Nilayanam means support. Anilayanaha means Atma is not this support. But non-support. What does it mean? What is implied? Let me take you to the actual meaning. Atma is not the support means Atma is free from supporter, supported division. Why Upanishad has to talk about it? Atma is free from supported division. Adhara Adeya Sambandha Rahitaha. See, initially, listen to me carefully. When we started Vedanta class, in the beginning, what do we say? Ocean is the support for the wave. Bhagavan is the support for an individual. We say that. Initially, we state like that. We say, now ocean is the support, wave is the supported. That is correct, relatively correct. But after some time, when you understand the truth of the wave and the ocean being one and the same, there's no division at all as wave and ocean. Where is the supporter, supported? Division. Is it clear? Therefore, Anilayanaha means Atma, Adhara, Adeya, Sambandha Rahityat. There is no support. Atma being free from supporter, supported division. Atma is not the support. Not a support of anything, nor is it supported. Is it clear? See, it's another level. Similarly, we say what? Karana Karyam Sambandha. Atma is neither the cause nor the effect. Initially, to understand Brahman, Upanishad itself presents the Brahmatma as the cause. Initially, what do we understand? Atma is, Brahman is the cause, universe is the effect. Just now we learned. From the standpoint of the universe, the cause of the universe is Atma, we say. From the standpoint of Atma, Atma is neither the cause nor the effect. The Karana Karya Sambandha Rahityat. Adhara Adeya Sambandha Rahityat. Atma Anilayanaha. I'll repeat again. Is it clear? See, from the standpoint of the ocean, we say cause of the ocean is water. The standpoint of the water is neither the cause of the ocean nor is the effect. Similarly, Atma from the standpoint of the universe is looked upon as the cause. Why? Because the universe has no independent existence. Whereas the standpoint of the Atma, if you see, Atma is neither the cause nor the effect. Where Atma is free from cause-effect relationship. Atma is free from supporter-supported relationship. Is it clear? This is how Atma is. You can say Adrishyaha, Adrishyaha, Anatmyaha, Aniruktaha, Anilayanaha. So in such an Atma, locative case is what? Adrishye, Anatmye, Anirukte, Anilayane. In such an Atma, a person attains abundance in fearlessness. What does mean? When a person attains abundance in fearlessness, in that Atma means when he shifts his essence cognitively from the Anatma, body, mind, sense complex, and he resolves his essence in that Atma, the consciousness, And he sees the self being indestructible, beginningless, endless, changeless, all pervasive, abstract consciousness existence as the self. He sees himself, he discovers fearlessness. Understand? That is when a person abides in fearlessness. This is called attainment of abundance in fearlessness, means resolving one's identity in Atma, resolving one's essence in Atma, the seeing Atma being one's own self, thereby seeing Atma being free from all limitations is what? In fact, discovering fearlessness. Is it clear? Don't worry, we have to do a lot of work. Tomorrow morning we'll all be very fresh and we'll do it tomorrow. I will repeat the same thing tomorrow. I know it takes time. But I tell you, it's a very beautiful lesson. No, actually, this is the 7th point, but I have not yet completed it. So we'll see tomorrow. So I thought I was very ambitious today. I thought I should finish the 7th Anuvaka. Tomorrow morning, whole class, I will be doing this only. But do you all enjoy this? Huh? Okay. Hope you do not toot. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. I tell you, Bhagavan really bless all of you with a clear understanding of the Swarupa of Atma being fearlessness. I tell you, Satyam, Satyam, Paramasatyam, there's nothing which can bless one with absolute security, sense of security, other than the knowledge. Jnanameva dhairyam, jnanameva balam. So we'll continue.